Hey everyone, it's Emily Fox. Today's video is going to be week 2 of my 1 week 1 shelf challenge TBR edition. I have a video explaining the rules while I reorganize my bookshelves, but essentially I put at the top of each of my 7 bookshelves a list of books that I'm hoping to read, either really popular ones that I want to give a shot to, some that I have forgotten basically that I own, and then some of the ones that I feel like I'm not necessarily going to like and I need to declutter from my shelf, but I want to give them a shot first. So I don't really know what the week is going to bring, but I have 8 papers in here for 7 bookshelves, so one of them is a bonus one, but we're going to remove the one from last week. So what am I reading? I don't want to know. Do I? Let's see. Oh, green. That's fantasy. That's actually great. I'm actually excited. So which one? I don't even know if it's going to show up because I only could find a yellow. Maybe it's the other side. I don't know. Yellow pen, which was not really ideal. Oh, number 2. That's actually the best one, I think. Okay, I'm excited. Let's go see. Okay, so number 1 and number 2. Number 2 looks empty, but it's not. It's just this one shelf. And I'm excited because this bookshelf basically contains, well, these two, a lot of the books that I really enjoyed that are fantasy. And I kind of gives you a little bit of an idea what I have enjoyed. I haven't read everything, but most of these books I have. So yeah, I think the only exception is like this one that I haven't read. Everything else I think I have. So no, actually I haven't read, nor these two, but everything else I think I have read and at least enjoyed. So that's basically what that bookcase represents. This is if I decide to declutter, because again, I have a lot of like older YA fantasy, not everything again, but I probably should just give them a shot and get rid of them. But I think I'm in the mood to actually finish books because the last week I did some declutter. So what do I read? I'm gonna be honest, the last thing I need to do is to start a new series. So that means that we're probably gonna start a new series. I can't help myself. Some of the ones that are not series, just to give myself, you know. We have The Deep, which this one seems to be fantasy, sci-fi. You have mermaids that I keep thinking it's a revenge story, but it's not. I think it's just a descendant of pregnant African slave women who were thrown overboard, and it's about them. I've heard it's great. It's on the short side, so I feel like I should find some time to read this week. This one I had started, as you can see. This is The Bookshop and the Barbarian. It's supposed to be another cozy fantasy, again kind of short, so I should finish this too, right? And then we have Terry Pratchett, the Wired Sisters. It's basically his witches series. I love witches and I haven't tried anything by him, and I know you can start a few different places, and I believe this one you can, so maybe. I started the series a while ago. I should continue and finish it. Will it happen this week? I don't know. Witch. It's a YA fantasy, so I don't know. For some reason, I literally can't say it right now. So this one, a cut. The Witch one, another one. We have The Tiger's Daughter, which is the first book in, I think it's an adult fantasy series. I believe it is a sapphic romance. We have The Unbroken, which I think is also a sapphic romance. Again, an adult fantasy, the first book in a series. And then we have Hiren Widow, which I don't know if it's YA or adult, but it's definitely fantasy. Is there a sapphic romance? I don't know about this one, but this one is it the one that was like unfairly removed from is it the Hugo Award or the other one? So I feel like I really want to read this year because of that, because I was supposed to do that as a challenge, reading a lot of the nominees and like, you know, but I kind of want to read this one. Should I, or should I continue? I don't know. I'm going to give myself the choice tonight. I'm going to try these and I'll decide. And then I think after that, I should finish these 2. So we'll see how it goes, but that kind of gives you an idea of what I think the week will bring, maybe. I would rather struggle to figure out what to read because I'm too excited about many books than struggle. So that's the perfect week for me. I feel like I got hit by a truck overnight. The week is not done. We're halfway through the week and I'm done with the week. Like, this is not going to be a good week. It has not been a good week. But it's okay. The babies have been coming and saying good morning for the last half hour. I'm going to show you the clips. It was Clawdia first, then Chunky, and now it's Charlie. And I had the other babies next to me the whole time. So we're going to talk about the books now that I'm a little bit more awake. I read, that's the one I was holding, The Bookshop and the Barbarian. I had read the first 2 chapters, right? So I reread them and then I read one more just to figure out what it was about. That's all I had time to do. But I'm going to continue. But now I know what it is about. So the main character decides to buy this bookshop in a different town, sight unseen. So she has no idea what it looks like, what's going on. And she buys it, but when she gets there, she realizes that there are squatters, basically goblins, and by law she's not allowed to do anything about it. But she decides to go to this pub, hires this giant woman who will take care of it. So that's basically what's going on so far. I believe, don't quote me on that, but I believe this is self-published and supposed to be like Legends and Lattes. So maybe there's going to be a romance. I don't know yet, but so far I'm enjoying it. I don't know what he's staring at, but sometimes I'm afraid that he's seeing things or hearing things in the walls. Not good. Anyway, so that one is going good. The only thing is, I don't know how to say that. I need to figure out a better way to say that, but I'm enjoying it. The tone is good, the humor is good, but it almost feels a bit like a children's book for adults. That's the best way I can describe it. But that's how I feel with a lot of like cozy books, so might be just me. Now, the other one, which now I don't know where I put it, but The Deep, I'm about halfway through it now, and I am enjoying it. It's very different from... He's so close to me. Like, his face is right in my face. The Deep. So, I am halfway through it, and this one is definitely out of my comfort zone in the sense that the writing style is very lyrical, which is not a go-to for me. It's not a deal breaker. I feel like a lot of popular ones are like that, like How to Lose the Time War or Piranesi. That one I did like. And I feel like they have things in common because, again, the writing style, but also like memory loss kind of vibes. So in this one, I wasn't sure in the intro because it had been corrected, but it's definitely about generational trauma. You were definitely right with that. So the main character is a historian for these people. I'm going to call them Mermaid. So, she's the historian for them, so it means that she's one of the only one that actually remembers their past. She has the memory of past generations of women who were thrown overboards, pregnant, and the babies is basically them, their people. And you kind of get flashbacks of these things throughout the book so far. And I'm enjoying it. It seems very quotable. There were a few quotes that I put little post-its. And yes, so far I'm enjoying it. It's definitely not something you can binge read, to be honest. So even though it's on the shorter side, I feel like it's going to take me the whole week. I'll just flip-flop between the 2 books. And yeah, I think I'm just going to try to survive this week. Life. But it's been nice outside. I can show you clips. Right now it's really not nice. But you're not supposed to cut your grass during the month of May. I don't know if it's a thing everywhere, but like you don't keep it for the bees. And my backyard is kind of awful because I've never seen so many invasive species of plants ever. Like, I have to fight like 3 types of vines, no joke, in my backyard every year. Otherwise it kills my trees. Anyway, but some of them are flowers. So right now it's really nice outside. There's like the dandelions, which I know not everyone likes. I love them. And I have these blue ones, which I looked up the name and now I can't remember, like Chinese something. And then I have some wild violets. It's pretty. I don't care that it's invasive. It's very pretty. Even the apple trees are flowering, the lilac tree, like, this is my saving grace at the moment. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. The books are going okay. I'm doing and the cats are great though. They're living their best life. They're very happy. This week was ridiculously long. I'm going to review the 2 books that I finished in a second when I'm writing everything, but I just need to talk about 2 things before that because it's a tangent, but a lot has been happening this week. I woke up this morning to a bunch of crap all over the floor in the kitchen because someone opened up a cabinet and found things to play with. Essentially, Chunky's an addict. I'm just gonna say it. I've been giving them like freeze-dried treats, and this brand, I think it's Vital Essential, it's not sponsored. They should send him because I fear for my life at this point. But I had tried a few different things to give them, you know, in one of their meals every day kind of thing. Claudia wants nothing to do with any treats, but the boys love it. And Chunky, I finally finished the other brand of like chicken hearts that they had, and I switched to this one, and he's obsessed, like straight up. And I had to Google how many you can give them a day, because I was starting to be worried. I was giving him one a day and I'm like, that sounds excessive, but apparently you can give like 2 or 3. I'm still sticking to 1 and I'm wondering if I should cut him off. Like straight up like an addict, because what is going on? So yeah, he's been opening cabinets trying to find these plastic bags because he's obsessed. And yeah, this morning or last night, he opened up a cabinet and found the pancake mix and he was like, oh, plastic bag must be it, and chewed through it and it was flour everywhere. And I was worried, like, is it dangerous for cats to like eat flour? I didn't even Google it because I don't have time to deal with it this morning. He ate, they all ate, because I'm sure Charlie also chewed because he loves to chew. But what the frick am I supposed to do with these cats? The boys are a lot of trouble. And by the way, Claudia's not perfect. She is in this instance for sure. But last time I was telling you a bunch of crap that they've been doing, and I was saying I don't think Claudia's been doing anything bad. Like, I knew she did bad stuff. They're babies. But I remembered what she does. 2 things. First, I have a robot vacuum, which if you have pets, this is the best investment you'll ever make, because I use it every day. It's the only reason I'm not drowning in cat hair. But she purposely turns it on. She will press the button and she plays with the little like brush in the front that does this. It's so annoying because she did it twice. That was a while ago, but she still starts it. But a while ago, she did it twice in the same week and it went over the plate of wet food and I had to clean the freaking vacuum. It was gross. Anyway, she does bad things too. And the second thing she started doing is that she will scratch the TV when I'm watching it. I don't know if it's because, does she want attention? Like, I'm sure some of you will know. You have pets, you maybe work with pets. Is she doing that for attention? I don't know. But yeah, that's the 2 things that she does the worst. But she's definitely the best baby now, which is so weird because she was kind of evil as a baby. And like, look at her. I think it's a bad quality picture, but it's just so funny to look at her because she has a tiny head compared to the other ones, but she has those giant paws. Anyway, she's a cute baby. And the second tangent I wanted to talk about, because it's also something I wanted to discuss with you, and it has to do with books or book reviews. And I didn't know you could have your reviews on Goodreads flagged and removed and like reported. And I feel like I should have known that, but I'm surprised, and that's the main point. I'm surprised that none of my other reviews have ever been reported. Maybe they haven't, it just never got flagged. Because I got so much hate on Goodreads. At this point, I think it's really funny. Every time I hate a book that is really popular, like Dune or like The Witcher, like all of those, I'm shocked that they weren't removed. I mean, reported, maybe they have. Anyway, the thing is, I love leaving short, punchy reviews. Because I'm not going to summarize the book. I think it's, like, some people do it and it's useful, but, like, generally speaking, I don't find it that useful, and I don't want to be doing that. I don't think my English is good enough to do that. I feel like writing in English is my weakest portion. She said, barely speaking English. But I got one removed, and it's The Last Murder at the End of the World. And I literally just left the review that it was by far the most disappointing books that I've read so far this year. And it is, because I really enjoyed The 7.5 Murders of Evelyn Hardcastle by the same author. And I got an advanced reader copy. Like, I asked to read the book before it was published because I was so excited to read more by him. The premise sounded interesting. And it was so boring. The only reason I finished it was because it was the same author and I was hoping that it would get better. It really didn't. So my review was literally just that it was the most disappointing books that I've read so far this year. And then eventually I added a clip of, like, a link to the review that I included in my wrap-up that month. And I think that's the reason that the report was accepted, because you're allowed to put a link, but you should leave a review first, which I did, but because it's one line, I guess they decided, oh, it's not enough. But my question is, like, who reported that? I don't think it's the author. Like, I feel that would be super petty. I know some authors do that. I really hope not, because again, I like raving about this other book. But, like, it's so weird to me to report a review for that reason, because you don't agree. But I mean, it's the internet, people are petty, I guess. But yeah, it's the first time, which I wanted to talk about it because I'm sure some of you might have gone through something like that. I know some people have had issues with, like, authors commenting. Luckily, I've never had that issue, because I can tell you, I would be the pettiest person ever and, like, make it a thing. Like, I would remind you constantly of that situation to embarrass them. That's the one thing I would definitely be petty about that. But yeah, I'm using this as a fun reminder to
suggest that you don't pick up that book because it was truly awful. Obviously, everyone would feel differently, but it will make it to my most disappointing books of the year because it truly was a huge disappointment. I was so bored. But I've looked at the reviews quickly. It just came out in March, so I looked at some of the reviews and it's very divided. People either give it 5-star or also say that it was really, really boring. So yeah, don't recommend, and would love to hear if you've ever had a review reported. I leave so many ones that are really short, but I guess that my most controversial ones are usually books that I hated. I feel like when you're disappointed, you don't necessarily have that much to say, but when you hate a book, I usually leave like quotes because I used to deal with a lot of people being like, oh, you know, you're exaggerating. It's not sexist or racist, whatever. And I would just put the quotes at this point, and now people can't say because it's right there. It's right there. So I started doing that. So that's probably why those reviews were not removed. Although Dune, I spent way too much time complaining about the name Jessica, so it would have been possible. Anyway, that was my little tangent section of this video. And I'm gonna go get ready. I have things to do, and then I'm gonna review the 2 books because I finished them. I'm excited to do one last vlog because I think, like I said, I'm gonna just do 3. It's okay. I need to learn to chill, okay? 3 is fine, especially if I just spend more time. And it was fantasy, which, although I didn't read any, like, fantasy, I have a good news. I am finally back. I think I'm going to go back to reading fantasy. I'm planning a video about, like, beginner-friendly ones, and then I'm going to do, like, more advanced kind of thing, just to make it, like, a progression thing, like I used to do with sci-fi. So I am predicting that the second half of the year is going to be full of fantasy. So if you have any suggestions, I'm going to try and focus on the ones on my shelf because it's been, you know, a thing for me this whole year. Can you hear him? Chunky. I think we've heard you enough. But yes, I think it's going to be the rest of my year. So, hi. I finally feel kind of human now. I shouldn't say that. Look at this.
I will never know peace. I will never know peace. What is this? What is this?
I feel like I talk about my cats too much, but like you don't understand. I have to live with this 24/7 and they drive me nuts. Like every day I wonder what I was thinking keeping 3 kittens, because I've always said I wanted to adopt older cats, like 3 years old at least, because they're chill at that point. Like they know what's up. They're not insane like this. And it never ends. They always find something else. And she's way too freaking smart. So whenever the boys do something, she'll learn and do it too. Like Chunky, when his favorite thing at the moment is to push his toy under the oven, open the drawer, go and get it. He started doing that. Like at first it was just opening it and going and playing underneath, but now he does that. And obviously she learned to do the same thing. So now when I come into the kitchen, I can't even like close the drawer because there might be a cat underneath. So just now, before I came upstairs, I gave them some food and I opened the can, and Claudia came out from underneath it. Like, what is my life? And as you can see, she cannot leave me alone. As soon as the door is closed, I see a white little paw underneath, and I'm like, yeah. I feel for moms out there, okay? This is close to motherhood I will ever experience, and it drives me nuts. I think my lens was dirty. It's better now, right? Anyway, so, if you were thinking about adopting 3 kittens, don't do it. I don't really regret it because it's too late now. They're mine. I will live with them forever. They're not going anywhere. But my gosh. Anyway, the reason you're actually here, right? I mean, I know some of you are really here for the cats, but now she's down. Cool. The Deep. Short book. Definitely a vibe. This is what this book is about. I was describing it in my last update. I feel like I didn't update a lot this week. I'm telling you, so much happened in my real life. And it just, like, some people, like, escape through reading. I just get too stressed and I can't read. Anyway, The Deep, definitely vibe. It's a serious topic that is handled in a very lyrical way. Very, again, I'm calling this magical realism, like fantasy mixed with it, but in a way that worked for me. I can't say that this is an all-time favorite because it is so outside of my comfort zone that eventually it's just not, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I'm not emotionally invested as much as I would if I were to give it 5 stars. That's the best way I can describe it. So I enjoyed it. I do recommend it, again, if that's usually the kind of books you are into. I'm glad I read it. I don't know yet if I'm going to round it up to a 4 or not. I'm glad I read it, but I don't know what to say about it. It's just something you have to experience for yourself. And again, it's not long, but it took me forever to read because it's not something you can binge read, but definitely different in a good way. Now, the other book that I read, The Bookshop and the Barbarian, again, also short. And this one, I don't think I really compared it to anything, right? Because my last update, I had just started it. And I can't help but, again, compare it because this is an adult cozy fantasy. Yes. And like I said, I believe that the author was inspired to write it based on Legends and Lattes. Did I mention that earlier? It's been like a week since my last update. And I do think yes, because again, bookshop, giant female character, you know, making friends with the neighborhood. Like, the vibes are similar, yes. But I feel like the writing reminds me of things like Good Omens, and Princess Bride, like The Hitchhiker's Something Galaxy, like these books, which I think the tone is, again, similar. And this one is just more modern, so I feel like the jokes are still very funny. But there's just something, again, about all of these books that made them not favorites because I don't get emotionally invested in the story. So overall, I still think in all of them, I felt like they were children's book for adults. I feel like it sounds like an insult, but I really mean it. Like, it's not meanly. Like, it's just the way it reads to me. And I enjoyed it for what it was. Again, some of the jokes are funny. I'm trying to not spoil anything, but like the first one that pops into my head is that obviously there's a mean woman that could be seen like as the villain, like the witchy mean woman that wants to destroy the bookshop. And turns out she's a villain because she's a landlord. You know, so like modern jokes included in here. So the jokes out of the story are funny. Definitely had a few, you know, smiles while reading it. But again, I just don't care about the story. I felt like that exactly with all the books written in that style. Like even that one by Brandon Sanderson, the green one, Emerald Sea one. It's all the same thing to me. So if you've enjoyed these ones, I would recommend checking out this one because I think you would enjoy it. There you go. I feel like I'm finding it easier and easier over time to compare books and do that. Like, if you like this, try that. I used to do a lot of recommendation videos like that. Should I do that again? Because again, this would be it. Like, if you like those books, try this one. I don't think it's as well known and you might enjoy it. Again, if you like fantasy, cozy fantasy. So yeah, that's kind of my week. Chaotic, I guess. But I read 2 books. And even though they were not 5-star, not every book needs to be 5-star. I feel like we need to like stop that pressure a little bit. I feel like I've moved on from that a lot. But at the same time, I do feel like this year, I haven't found that many all-time favorites, but I've been really focusing on like decluttering the shelves and like, that's a good angle. I feel like you can see a lot of the books. But yeah, it was okay. It was okay. Did week 2 or like second vlog of this challenge. Like I said earlier, I think I'm only going to have time to do one more, but maybe it's not a bad thing to spend a couple more days, focus on one instead of, I don't want to do like a full month for a full shelf, but like 10 days might be fine. A week passes so quickly. Like, I feel like sometimes I forget that. Like, I get so excited about a challenge. Oh, I have a week, blah, blah, blah. But then a week goes by so fast. And like, Bridgerton is coming out, season 3. So like, I'm going to have like an evening or 2 completely booked out. So I'm going to need the extension for the 3rd week, 3rd vlog. So I think I'm going to do 3 this month. Let me know if you enjoyed that concept because I might do another one of those this summer. Like doing it for another month for however many vlog end up happening. Anyway, this is it. I'm going to go fight Clawdia. And a giant freaking pause. And I will see you in the next vlog because, again, I'm going to go and film that right now. I'm going to film the intro, pick the next shelf, and decide what's going to happen. I feel like we've done 2 good shelves so far. A good fantasy
a good mystery thriller, and I don't know what I'm gonna pick now. I mean, it could be almost anything. I'll put more videos on the screen that I recommend you check out, and I will see you very soon. Bye.